Hi, I am so excited that you are here and that you have requested the Selfie Secrets part of the Bevroir Basics class. I am so excited to share with you all of the exact tips and tricks that I use to make sure that my selfies are going to be the best possible. And I cannot wait to hear which ones worked for you and how you love the class and what you got out of it. In case we haven't met yet, I'm Jillian and I own Bevroir, which is a luxury portraiture studio in central Pennsylvania. And I have photographed almost 400 women, just like you, who are all different ages, shapes, and sizes, and we have found ways that we're going to love ourselves in photos. So I cannot wait to share with you exactly what I teach my clients and the tips and tricks that I use myself, and also some things along the way that you don't want to do, right? Because let's all learn from each other's mistakes. So let's get started and jump right on in. So the number one tip that I have for you is actually the most important in my opinion. It's called find the light. So light is our best friend, right? Ladies, we want to find light in every situation. And at Bevroir, we specifically use natural light for a reason. Natural light smooths our fine lines and wrinkles, which is going to make us look younger. It's going to make our skin look all glowy and pretty, and it's going to make everything that we don't like about our face, like our age spots and our freckles, kind of disappear. Natural light is your best friend. The other thing that it does, which is amazing, is when your eye gets those little sparkles in it, makes you look really happy. That's because the light is actually reflecting out of your eyes, right? So light is our best friend. And right now you're probably getting really excited, like, yes, I can do that. I can find light. But most people ask me all the time, okay, well, how do I find the light? And the best answer that I can give you is find a window, right? So light obviously is gonna come in through a window. So the window is going to be your best source of light. What people don't realize a lot of the times is you do not want to stand in front of a window. If I move over here and the window is behind me, that actually means that I'm going to be backlit, which means all the light's coming in behind me and it's going to make these terrible shadows and wrinkles appear. Think like a vampire, right? So not cute. So most of the time people think, oh, I need to find light. I'll just go stand in front of the window. And it's actually doing the opposite effect. So I'm holding my cell phone right now because if this was you at home taking a selfie, you would not want to shoot this way. And I'm going to put these photos in the comments. You actually want to turn towards the light and then take your photo, because that way the light is coming onto your face, right? You're going to get that beautiful glow. It's going to make all those wrinkles disappear. It's going to make you look as good as you possibly can. So always when you can, find light and turn towards it. So a little bit of a confession, true confessions here. My favorite place to actually take a selfie is in my car. I know probably a lot of you have done that too, and you're like, oh yeah, me too, I love car selfies. Well, there's a reason for it. If you think about it, your car is comprised of windows. So you have one in front of you, one behind you, and a bunch on the sides. And what that means is you are totally surrounded by amazing, beautiful, natural light. So you're getting it from all angles. There's a reason why in your car your selfies look better than they do anywhere else. It's because of the light. So if you can take a selfie in the car, always do. The last thing that I want to share with you about light, because light is every photographer's dream, is if you've ever heard anybody mention soft light. So today, while we're shooting, it is a very cloudy, rainy day in Pennsylvania, but it's actually a photographer's dream because those clouds are blocking the sun. So if you're outside in the middle of the day and you want to try to take a selfie, there's a lot of time where the sun is going to be beating down on you, right? It's going to make big shadows on the ground. It's going to make big shadows on your face. That is not what you want in a selfie. It's very harsh light. It's not going to be flattering. So you always want to find soft light. And what that means is either be outside when it's cloudy, something like this, which looks amazing, or try to find shade. If you're taking a selfie anywhere outside where there's going to be too much light and it's too harsh, find the shade. And remember, always turn towards the light before you snap. So the second tip I have for you is find the angle. Unless you have a selfie stick, which let's be honest, who uses selfie sticks, right? I was thinking about what I wanted to say during this, and I watched this Facebook video of this guy that ran around cutting people's selfie sticks. And I really think that I am scarred from it. Like, I'm scared to use a selfie stick. I never will, because all I can see is this crazy guy who just runs in and he has these things and he clips it and leaves. I think it's terrible. So anyway, unless you have a selfie stick, there's really only a couple ways that you can take a selfie, right? And finding your best angle is super important. So your arm is only going to go out to a certain angle. So what you want to do when you're at home, don't do this in public because you might look a little bit weird. What you want to do at home is we're going to take 3 different types of photos. So you're going to put your arm straight out, right? And you're going to snap. And then you're going to lift it 30 degrees. So straight out is pose 1. Then you're going to lift it 30 degrees, and that's pose 2. You're going to snap again. And then you're going to lift it 30 degrees, and that's pose 3. So what you want to do, ideally, is have your arm at pose 2. Because if you put your arm straight out, that's not going to look cute. Like, most of us, if you take a picture like this, you're going to see a whole lot of chin. Which, ladies, let's be honest, as we age, this does not look cute. More about that in the Bevoir Basics video. But all you need to know for the selfies is you do not want to see this, especially this way, not cute on anyone. So number 1 is probably not going to work for you. When you raise it to number 2, it's the perfect angle because you're slightly above. So you want to be slightly above your eye level, but the reason why number 3 is probably not great is because you're going to be seeing the top of your head. And let's be honest, that's not cute on anybody either. So you can tell if you're looking at people where they've taken their phone and put it way up high, and that really does not look cute. So in the privacy of your own home, you're going to want to do this. You're going to practice the 1, 2, and 3, and when you find the one that works for you, practice doing it over and over. Because I'm not going to lie, I have, right? So now every time that I know that I want to take a selfie, it is automatic. Your arm goes out and it goes up, and you've got that angle. So when you're in your home, practice that angle. I say 27 times makes a habit, although people have told me that it might be less. But I did it 27. So whatever amount you want to do that should help you, practice that, find your angle, and then you're good to go. Tip number 3 is remember the window. So this one sounds a little bit weird on purpose because I want you to remember what I'm talking about. And it's kind of a weird thing to say, so I'm going to go through and explain it to you. So what I want you to do when you're taking a selfie is pretend that there is a window and always remember that you need that window. Because one of the keys to taking a selfie with your friends is to make sure that you guys are always on the same plane. So I used to say level, and I want to make sure that you guys understand what I'm talking about when I say make sure that you're on the same plane. So imagine if you and your friend walked up to a window, right? If you're both looking out the window, you might be at different height levels. Obviously, you're not going to be the same height as all of your friends, but your faces are at the same place. So if you're both standing in front of a window, looking out of the window's going to come in front of both of you, and your faces or your heads are going to be at the same place. That is super, super important because there's been so many times where you've taken a photo with your friends, and if they're not at the same place that you are, one of you is going to look larger. Whatever is closest to the camera is what looks biggest, always. So you don't want your head to be in front of your friends or your body because it's going to make you look much larger than them. I'm actually going to insert some photos right about now for you to see what I'm talking about. So in these photos, you can see that Billy and I were goofing around, and there's the different examples. You can see what it looks like if we found our window and pretended like there was something in front of us and we're at the same plane. It's obviously the best one, right? But you can also see what happens if he does move his head backwards. It means that mine almost looks bigger, although his head is much larger than mine. Or if he moves his head forward, it looks gigantic. And although it's much larger than mine, it's not that big. So it really does make a huge difference when you pull your phone out to make sure that you and your friends are all on the same plane, or pretend like there is a window pane in front of you so that all of your faces are on the same level. I've seen so many photos, ladies, and I've been in them, where you look at them and you're like, tell me that I'm not that big, or I'm not as big as my friends, or I'm actually much smaller than this person. It all has to do with the perspective and where you are in front of the camera. So every time that you pull out that phone, remember the window and make sure that your face is at the same place as your friends. Trust me, you will thank me. Tip number 4 is change angles and expressions, right? So we all have that one friend who takes photos the same exact way every single time. And you look at her posts and you're like, was this today? Was it yesterday? Was it last week? If you're anything like me, I have this internal struggle, like, do I just unfollow this person? Because I'm really tired of seeing their face in the same angle every single day, right? So instead of taking the photo the same way every time, mix it up, because the whole point of this is for your audience to engage with you, right? You're putting yourself out on social media to remember things and have a lot of fun, or to create engagement with your friends and your family and your audience. So give them something to engage with. Don't make it the same every single time. I'm not sure you've noticed, but I've been moving in this video, right? To keep you excited and to keep you engaged in what I'm doing. So that is really, really important. And it's not just your face, it's also your body, what you're doing with your body, right? So we all remember that terrible duck face craze. Thank you, Paris Hilton or someone else that decided to start that. Thankfully that's done. But don't make your photos look the same every single time. Change it up. Do somewhere you're standing, somewhere you're sitting, somewhere you've used your hands or something else, a different expression in your photo so that people can really connect with them. So I tell ladies all the time, hand placement is important. I mean, even taking your hand and bringing it up here or bringing it back there or doing different things with your hands is going to make your photos look different. The other part of it, because we said this is change angle and, is the expression. So there's nothing worse than that same duck face, dead-eyed look constantly. You really want to change it up. And I know that it's not easy to stare into the Apple symbol and make really good faces. I know this is not easy, but you have to try to think about something different. So I tell my ladies all the time, pretend like you want something, like you're flirting with me, or like you want to tell me a secret, or that there's something that I don't know about you. You know, weird things. And you could see I just made a ton of different expressions at you. So I might not like all of them. I might take those selfies and be like, oh, that one was awful. And that's okay. Delete it. But if you take enough, if you practice enough different expression, then you are going to have that variety in your photos, and people are going to feel like they know you better and they can connect with you. So don't forget, change angle and change expression. So tip number 5, and our last one, is find other things to include in photos with you. So I know that that sounds super counterintuitive, right? Because we're talking about photos of ourselves, but you really don't want to have the same photo of your face over and over and over again, right? So a long time ago, a friend of mine challenged me to start putting my face on social media. And number 1, it is hard. It is hard to take the same photo of your face over and over again. And number 2, it's honestly kind of boring. So what you want to do is create other ways for your audience to engage with you. Put other things in the photos with you. So whether it's you and your dog or some sort of product, change it up so that people are also seeing what you're doing in your life, not just your face over and over again. So for instance, hold something. Put something in the photo with you. Normally for me it's coffee, but it's the end of the day, so my coffee's gone. What you want to do is literally have something else in the photo with you. So you're going to be drinking it, you're going to be holding it, you're engaged in what you're doing. That kind of thing is really going to help your audience and not feel like it's just the same photo of your face over and over and over again. Find things that you're excited about, find things that you want to share or include or tell your audience about, and bring those in with you. So that was the top 5, but just because everybody loves a bonus, I'm going to include that for you too. So my bonus for group selfies is get around the taker. So unless you're at the Oscars and you're Ellen, most of the time the way that we stand in a group selfie is really not flattering. If you remember what I was saying before about the window and wanting to be on the same pane with the rest of your friends, same plane, you're going to want to do the same thing in a group selfie. So normally the person that's holding the camera, everybody's behind them, right? They They have to try to stick their arm out as long as they possibly can so that all their friends can get in. What you actually want to do is get around the person taking the photo. So you're going to want to bring your face to the same level as the person taking it so that all of you are level and you don't wind up having one person looking gigantic. So that is the definite tip. You're not Ellen. Make sure all of your friends get around you, and then you can take your selfies together just like you were looking out that window. Always remember the window. So I hope that you loved learning all these tips and that it was really exciting for you, and it's going to change the way that you do selfies. I love teaching them for you, and I cannot wait to share with you the Bev4 basics and what you're going to learn in that class. I am so excited to teach you the tips and tricks that I have taught almost 400 women so that we can make your photos and the world a better place. So grab a glass of wine, find a mirror at home. We're going to go hang out and learn how to take a better photo so that when somebody else pulls out a camera, you are not groaning or trying to hide. I got you, girl. We're going to walk through this together, and by the end, you are going to be so excited about what you've done in photos. I cannot wait.